Hey guys, if you're like me and you're looking at buying a house within the next couple years or so, the real estate market can seem a little concerning. We're at the lowest housing supply recorded in history. We have homes getting snatched up left and right with the competition being super high. And then on top of that, 42% of homes are sold above their listing price. Some of that is due to agents' strategy, but a lot of that has to do with the large demand and the low supply of the housing market right now. My name is Maverick, and today we're going to be talking about my opinions on how I see the real estate market playing out over the next couple of years. First, there is a lot holding up the market right now, preventing any sort of correction from happening anytime soon. We got a short supply of housing. We got stimulus, mortgage forbearance talked about pushing as far back as 40 years. We got economies opening back up, and we have the lowest interest rates in a long time, which means free money, essentially. So I wouldn't go as far as to say that a real estate crash would happen anytime soon with all of this evidence of the market being propped up by these things, but it's going to happen eventually, and that's just how markets work. Whether it is a correction or a crash, there is a lot that can be affected when it comes down to housing prices and how everything's going to be playing out, especially in states and cities where a lot of Californians or high-income earners are moving to. The top 10 places that Californians have moved to, selling their house in California and bringing that fat stack of cash over to the state, are Texas, Arizona, Washington, Nevada, Oregon, Colorado, Florida, New York, Virginia, and Idaho. This has caused all of these markets to inflate drastically compared to what they would have if these incidents didn't occur. As someone who currently lives in California and really wants to get out in the coming years, this is something that I have to closely look at, and I've done a lot of research when it comes down to it, and these are some of my thoughts. No matter where you decide to move right now, housing's overpriced, and some places more than others. And if a countrywide real estate market correction happens, what will be the impact of these states that Californians have moved to? I left California my first year of college to go experience a new place. That state was Tennessee, and I really loved it, but just like most Californians, I bet, nothing really beats the weather in California. It doesn't really matter where you live. There's not too many places that can beat the weather, or the ease of going to the beach or being somewhere a lot nicer than where you are. Basically, anywhere you live in California, you could be somewhere new within about 2 hours. That's a luxury that not a lot of other states can afford. So as a Californian, I believe deep down inside, Californians who have moved out of the state would really prefer to live back in California. And so what happens if their state crashes in a real estate market? And what happens if California crashes? Well, it's in my belief that if the country crashed and all market prices went down for houses, or even if a correction happened, California prices would drop. And maybe the places that Californians have moved to, such as the states that I listed, would drop a lot more than California, or possibly not. But what's really going to drop those states that Californians have moved to is those Californians that want to move back. It's just the reality that California has become overpriced, so much so that it's pushing out the middle class from living there. If these people or other people who've always wanted to move to California see this as an opportunity, California is going to be one of the first to bounce back from this real estate market correction, and all these other states could possibly suffer in the process. Other than the large economies in these states like Arizona, Texas, Florida, Washington, what else is? Yeah, you're going to get cheaper housing. Yes, you're going to get a decent job. Maybe people are even living and working from home. Along with a countrywide market correction, we also have a brand new twist thrown into everything. And that is, a lot of people now are working from home. And it looks like a lot of that is here to stay. And so people have a lot more freedom to move anywhere they would like rather than being fixed in one spot where their job is located. This could mean that I'm totally wrong in my prediction, or it could mean that it's going to be absolute chaos what's going to happen here in the future. I mean, some markets are so inflated that I can't even imagine why these markets are still being propped up. I mean, one of these places that I'm looking to move to is Boise, Idaho, and I really like this area. I've gone to visit in the summer, and yes, I have gone to visit in the winter. So if any of you guys are going to tell me that, you know, there's really cold winters, don't go up there, I understand what I'm getting myself into, but I want to leave the state of California and move somewhere that I want to experience something new. But I had a family friend that lives up there, and they've been living up there for a few years, but they went to go before it all started booming, and their house ended up tripling in price from the time they bought it to just last year, which is absolutely insane. That is not healthy in a market, nor is it normal. And that sort of movement makes me very hesitant in heading up there anytime soon. So at the same time, I want to be, you know, cautious with how I spend my money, especially moving to an area that I don't know a whole lot about. I also want to stay in the loop because if we're still headed up in this upward trend, I don't want to be buying at the top in a couple years when I'm thinking about moving out. In summary, basically what I'm saying is that all these expensive areas, people are leaving and they're going to these cheaper areas in the country that are being inflated by the rich people's money. And so the entire country is having a huge inflation of, you know, demand and housing prices. All of that's causing a huge problem, and I'm suspecting that it's going to change really rapidly. And it's probably going to drop a whole lot of prices in these areas that are cheaper when, you know, the areas that are more expensive become cheaper and those people want to move back. But I don't know, you know, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll be sure to read it and, you know, take into consideration what y'all think. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed making it. Subscribe if you are into this content and want some more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.